Hello and welcome to yet another episode of our special interview series, HR Revolution Perspectives 2023 Experts Take, presented by People Matters in association with Darwinbox. I'm your host, Pallavi. Through this exclusive series, we have so far delved into several conversations with top CHROs and thinking minds from the people and work landscape across Asia. The series builds on insights from the HR Revolution Perspectives 2023 Empower and Evolve research study, which is one of the largest workplace transformation studies in Asia. The report paints an in-depth picture of what companies and employees demand today through responses gathered from over 2,000 HR practitioners and 1,200 plus employees. For today's interaction, I'm happy to invite Sarinah Abu Bakar, Chief Human Capital Officer, Telekom Malaysia. Sarinah has over 30 years of diverse experience, including strategic human resources business, partnering with global portfolio organization transformation, integrated talent management, executive coaching, and mergers and acquisition across global industrial technology companies. She brings with her HR best practices and strong stakeholder management in highly complex and demanding environments. To navigate this conversation, let me also introduce one of the authors of this study, Vikram Khanna, Global Head, Value Management Advisory and Solutions, Darwinbox. Through his professional journey spanning 18 years, Vikram has multi-geography experience in global and regional transformation, industry development, and change management. He's worked across roles spanning business development, program management, and solution development. Thank you so much, Sarinah and Vikram, for your time to be part of this series and agreeing to share your learnings with us.
Pleasure to be here, Pallavi. And once again, Sarinah, thank you so much for making time for this expert speak session.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're looking forward to a real insightful session. And as I now hand over the mic to Vikram, it would be wonderful if you can give our viewers a little glimpse of what this HR Revolution Perspectives 2023 Empower and Evolve research study reflects. And then you can get on with the discussion with Sarinah. Over to you, Vikram.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pallavi. And, this one's for the viewers of this conversation. You would have been many of you would have been part of the Evolution Perspective study. You would have participated in it. You would have attended some of the briefing webinars that we have done. HR Evolution's Perspectives is a joint effort by Darwinbox and People Matters to really talk about the HR transformation and workforce transformation agendas in Asia. It's a study which is centered around how Asian organizations are getting ready for growth, the supporting HR transformation, which underpins and supports that growth, and last but not the least, how is technology playing the role of a catalyst in driving that transformation. In our first edition, I'm very happy to share that the study saw participation from over 1,200 organizations. So thank you to the participating organizations. And true to the promise with which Darwinbox and People Matters set out for this study, we want to build it into a community. We want to create it as a platform for sharing ideas. And, I can't help but thank Sarinah once again for being part of this platform and rendering her voice to what we call as expert speak, where we want to learn and uncover some of the findings and their meanings with expert CHROs like Sarinah. Sarinah, thank you so much for making time once again. It's really exciting for me to be having this conversation with you. I've been an ardent follower of Telekom Malaysia and the wonderful work that the organization is doing. So, to tee off the conversation, I'll start it off with a very broad question to you. If one thinks of Telekom Malaysia, it's an organization which has not only aspirations for its shareholders, its employees, but it's got an aspiration for the entire nation. So, as you think of that aspiration and how Telekom Malaysia is changing itself, I've always wondered that how does HR and that transformation agenda of Telekom Malaysia? Would love to hear your thoughts and then we can take it from there.
Transformation is not something new at TM. And, it is a government-linked organization, but it is driven by the industry and we compete with the industry. So as the industry moves, as the technology moves, TM become a very, very competitive organization. We, as part of our sustainability strategies, we say we need to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of other people. And this is where our other part of organization as a GLC comes into play. We put ourselves as the driver for Digital Malaysia. And TM, being a technology organization, is at the forefront of doing that. And the organization has evolved, over the years. And now we call ourselves a technology organization. So how HR helps to drive that, right? And Vikran, it goes without saying, HR, our role is very much as the enabler, and we translate the organization's business and people strategies into HR initiatives. That's what we do, right? So at TM, as I mentioned, we position ourselves transitioning from a telco into a technology company. You mentioned about human-centered technology organization. That's what we aspire to do. The business, our organization, is currently in its second phase of our transformation. It's a 3-year transformation. And we focus into new growth areas, and digital play a big part of it. One of our growth areas is in cloud services, data center, cybersecurity, the things that you would hear nowadays, and we can't run away from that. Yeah, these are the new technologies, and we are part of it. Also, lifestyle convergence, mobile content, smart services, among others. These are the key strategies of the organization. And on my part, leading HR, we need to be very smart in terms of understanding these business strategies and translate that into our primary drivers for HR. And I like to touch on 3 things, Vikran. At the top of the rung would be how HR partner with business to equip TM with the right talents to deliver the strategies of the organization. And to understand this, we need to really work with the leaders and understand and identify the skill sets, the competencies that is required to deliver the strategies. Our part is to create a talent pool where business leaders at any time at all can draw a talent from this talent pool or marketplace for business. So we do a lot of skill assessments. We do from the skill assessments, we do upskill and reskill. This is big chunk of our development programs. I'll touch more about that later.
Yep.
We build that talent ecosystem within the TM organization, and externally, this talent ecosystem, extends to our technology partners, and this include tech-centric educational institution, and the aim is, at any one time at all, we can draw talents of high caliber who are proficient in the emerging technologies that we need. This is, talent play a key priorities in terms of how HR help business to deliver on its strategies. And we can talk more about it, but I like to touch on that one as the key drivers where HR support business.
Yeah, and it's such a if I try to connect it with what we found on Sarinah, was the fact that broadly organizations in Asia are looking at a very positive sentiment for growth, but as they think of that growth, critical capabilities, access to new capabilities which are coming into the market because of the ecosystem changing, technology advancing, is what is creating a lag on the efforts of organizations to grow. So when you talk about business partnering, focused on understanding the business, as well as then on the other side, looking at talent development holistically so that talent pools are available, it really struck a chord with me. If I may Sarina, you spoke about how the organization is changing and making a shift from being a telco to really becoming a digital technology organization. And in many ways, while one thinks it is adjacent, telcos move towards technology. But if you think of the fabric of the organization,
Yeah.
that would have undergone a lot of change to really make this transformation come to life.
Yeah.
Now, I want to touch upon the topic of organizational change with you. And I'm sure since you've taken reins of the HR function, it's moved from strength to strength. Uh, what have been some of the successful mantras that you've used in the organization to support and drive this change towards a technology led organization as opposed to just being viewed as a telco?
Yeah, Vikram, one of the first things that we do, as we put the 3-year transformation together, we create a compass for the organization that pivots very, very clear into business, customer, and people. And when it comes to people, we say culture play a big role.
Mm-hmm.
We introduce new culture statement. We call it Ini Cara Kita. It means our way. And this is, includes the behaviors that we want the organization, the employees to have so that we can have that culture transformation.
Mm.
And this is our 3rd year into that cultural shift. And the very aim is that it's not only mirrors our core values, but it must also cultivate innovative behavior, innovation, collaboration, and adaptability. As technology evolve, we know very well agility and adaptability in employees play a key role. So we ingrain strong tech culture into every facet of our operations, and we foster that growth mindset and creating environment where employees are empowered to drive the transformation. So the new culture statement, become our strong pivot as we fall back on this, so that to drive employees through the transformation. Another thing, Vikram, apart from culture, is also about way of working. And, we mentioned about adaptability and agility being key in any organization. At TM, we embarked about 2 years ago. We embarked on agile way of working. I think you heard about that. And it's not just about doing things in an agile manner. This is truly agile at scale adoption. So we have been accelerating agile way of working, whereby there's strong bias for action, remove the middle layer, and agile provides TM with a fundamental mindset shifts and operating model that is key to make our journey from telco to a technology company. And just to share with you, up till today, 50% of our revenue comes from agile way of working. And we are very proud of that because it's not easy to implement agile way of working. And HR, we champion the implementation of this, the promotion of agile mindset and operating model across the organization. And, through these agile practices, we can swiftly respond to market shifts and technological advancement. So these are the two things, apart from capability, apart from upskill, reskill, new skill sets, etc., that help the organization to move towards being a digital and digital organization and transform faster. Agile way of working and culture transformation.
Wow, that's really fascinating to hear on Sarina. And when you spoke about the agile ways of working, if I reflect on the findings from the study, HR agility is one of the centerpieces which supports an organization change, which gets an organization ready for the transformation which it is undergoing. And the way our study findings have alluded to, HR agility is actually, if you get to the hallmark of it, it's the ability to sense, tailor, execute at scale, and then continuously improve at pace. So as we looked at that journey, what we found was that organizations who thought through the HR operating model well, which you've alluded to, that the operating model is well set. It's also guiding the ways of working and are complementing it with the right HR technology, are the ones who are able to really create a huge difference when it comes to the delivery of outcomes. So I will touch upon your operating model and some of the changes in HR perhaps in a while. The other side, what we found was how the culture shapes up and how that culture manifests itself in the employee experience that is offered by the organization. So
Yeah.
if I now put a lens of employee experience, and it's there in the statement of Telekom Malaysia that you want to be a human-centered organization. I'm very interested to know, how is that human centricity reflecting in the organization, particularly when, if one thinks of Telecom Malaysia, given the rich heritage which you have, I'm sure there is diversity of workforce. You just mentioned about the diversity of the businesses also coming in. It must be really a very complex landscape for you to navigate and still deliver that human centricity. Tell us more about it.
Yeah. I mean, let me pick on the human-centered technology company. Yeah. We translate that as, providing solutions to customers, to employees, to stakeholders with digital solutions that help to make life better. Okay, that's the understanding of human-centered technology company. So we talk about the overall experience that customer employees go through, so that we have a digital solutions for the employees or customer experience. For customer experience, the organization embark on a long journey to make sure we have programs to fulfill that customer experience. But Vikram, sometimes we forget that employees need that similar good experience as much as we want the customer to have. Sometimes, if you really look at organizations, right, you see employees when they're outside of the organization and they're inside, as they step into the organization, it's like living in two different worlds, right? When you
Yes.
are outside, anything that you want to do is at the touch of your fingertips. With your phone, etc., you can get anywhere, make payments, etc. Now, enter the organization, you're stuck with systems. Sometimes it doesn't work. You're stuck with Excel spreadsheets, etc. So sometimes I feel that, employees live in two different worlds. So how do we, change that employee experience so that they have, the same or similar experience as we want customer to have? This is where, digital come into play. One of the touch points as employee enter the organization is human capital management. Our platforms, our access, the access that employee has when they start work in the organization. One of the key priorities for us in terms of this digital experience for employees is to have an end-to-end human capital management platform where the employee's journey from the moment they enter into the organization, good recruitment, good platform for onboarding, come into the organization immediately, have access to good systems and platforms in terms of performance management, development, career opportunities, job openings internally, some sport reward that recognize and motivate employees. And in the unfortunate event that employees leaving the organization, they have good offboarding experience. So end-to-end, human capital management, and we are embarking on that. It is one way that HR can make employees' experience better and more sustainable. So HCM is one area that we are focusing on. Apart from that, we say human-centered technology organization translate into employees. We want to make sure employees' experience is digitized. And one of the things that we do is when it comes to learning, we make employees have access to learning at their fingertips anywhere that they are in. So they have equal opportunity for learning, and that is being enabled by digitization. So those are just a few examples whereby digitization, HR digitization, help make employees experience better, and it transcends into everything that we do. Still a long journey before we can achieve that employee experience that is similar to customer experience, but we are on our track to achieve that. And I just give you a few examples of what we are doing in the organization. There are many more that we are embarking on.
Wow. I'm going to hold you and use that one phrase which you used. It was, I'll repeat it again for the viewers, right? On the way you articulated how you think and how you think of experience, that employees are living two lives. There's one which is outside the organization. There's one which is inside the organization. The moment you put that lens on, I think it creates such a powerful impetus for change. I will certainly use that elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, on Sarinah, a lot of changes we've spoken of. We spoke about the change in the organization. We spoke about how we are working towards changing the employee mindset, the ways of working. I'm sure this journey would not have been easy for your HR organization, right? We at times forget that there are times you almost need an HR for HR, right? So how has this change been for the HR organization? How have you relooked at the operating model or service delivery perhaps to really drive some of these changes? I think our viewers will benefit a lot from some of the lessons learned, and if there are stories you can share them.
Yeah, it's very interesting if you look at it as technology evolves, the way of working evolves, employee wants and needs changes, the organization strategies change. HR need to be very agile. Gone were the days, Vikran, where we have if your HCBD, if your business driver, you use your only business drivers, you support the business only. If you're COE, you're a subject matter expert, and you become sometimes an individual contributor, and you get very good at what you do. Yeah, subject matter expert COEs. Nowadays, what I see is that we can't live like that anymore. HR roles need to be very agile. So we have a hybrid HR operating model. Yeah.
Wow.
The operations, I think the operations continue to do operations work, and we digitize their work. We require, we free up their time so that they can do more strategic role. For the COE, for the HCBDs is our business driver. We make their focus or their portfolio a bit more hybrid. You can be a HCBD, but you also hold a role as a talent management leader. This is what we do currently. You may be a COE, but you can also play a business driver role. And Vikrant, this kind of hybrid working, nowadays anything hybrid, anything flexi sells. So this hybrid HR way of working and HR operating model make people more excited and learn more motivated, learn faster in their role. So this is what we are doing, and it reflects on the need to be agile, quick on your feet, flexi. So HR model is evolving, just like technology. And I mentioned a while ago, being human-centered technology organization, we need to digitize, automate, make things easy, free up time of our HR team members so that they can do more strategic things. So we embark and we participate in, well, maybe I digress a little bit, telling you about, how we promote digital mindset, digital way of thinking in the organization, and how HR latch on to that, right? At TM, we create platforms and opportunities whereby people come compete in one of our competition is Botathon, where employees look at an issue and they say, hey, I have this idea to automate this repetitive work by, RPA, and this is our third year doing Botathon competition. And I encourage HR to participate and compete. So we have Botathon competition today, in fact, and we have, out of the 26 teams, we have 2 HR teams. So
Wow.
we encourage HR to look at, as part of the digitization, right? Look at the challenges that we have, look at the opportunities of improvement, be a problem solver, not just in the usual way that we do, but also think of it in a digital manner. How can I save time? How can I shorten the process if I digitally resolve the long processes or the step and doing a bit more automation? So HR is evolving in a big way in that manner. It's about having that agile mindset, being flexible in how we look at our portfolios, be fungy, your role, fungible in your role, moving from business to subject matter expert to
And vice versa.
operations, and vice versa.
Wow. This is, I think it takes a lot of it takes a lot of change to drive a hybrid model like that. And it's that classical view wherein there is some amount of friction or handoff which happens between your subject matter experts and business partnering roles. But I'm sure that once you've overcome those hurdles, now with that hybrid role, you're not only giving more learning opportunities to your team, but at the same time, I can only imagine how sharp the solutions will be, because now there is equal understanding of the business problem at hand and the business direction. So when you are particularly wearing both the hats together in that hybrid model, I can only imagine the sharpness of the outcomes. Upon Sarinah, we are almost at the close of this conversation. While I would have loved for me to learn more from you and ask you more questions, I'll just draw the conversation to a close. We spoke about many things. We spoke about change. We spoke about the 3 phases of the transformation that Telekom Malaysia is on. We spoke about your digitization plans and aspirations for your employees. In closing, if I was to ask you, as we think of 2024, what are the 1 or 2 things which you're looking forward to the most when it comes to the organizational context and what you've set out to deliver?
For HR, we support the business to deliver their strategies. We need to make sure we have talent ready at any time for the organization to grow. One of the things that we are excited about is we are doing at this moment a talent crowdsourcing and talent marketplace, and we are doing it very deliberately and intentionally, and we want to do well so that we create that talent pool. So HR as the partner and enabler to the business, we need to have close ears and understanding of the strategies that the organization want to deliver. And we need to make sure we partner with them very closely to achieve that. One of the ways for us to do it is on talent. Talent or people would be the biggest differentiator. So our focus would be on talent. Our focus would be on a agile and adaptive organization. We are focusing on our culture. As I mentioned, we embarked on this more than 2 years ago. Our Ini Cara Kita. We are ready to enhance our culture to meet the new challenges of the organization. The last piece, Vikran, we want to make sure the human capital management platform that we want to introduce to the organization, we have started to give employees a good experience in the organization. Everything that they touch works, right? Good employee experience. So these are the three things that we want to make sure as HR leader of the organization. There are many more, but this three focus sits at the top of the key priorities for HR at TM.
Thank you so much, Sarinah. It's been wonderful talking to you, and I wish you only the very best when it comes to some of the plans that you've shared. We look forward, as Darwinbox and People Matters, we look forward to hearing more of such thriving stories from Telekom Malaysia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pallavi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Vikram.
Well, thank you so much for all those insights. And once again, thank you for taking the time out and sharing all your learnings with us. For everyone who's watching this interview, thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't yet got your copy of the HR Revolution Perspectives 2023 Power and Evolve edition of the study, then we request you to click on the link provided below this interview to download it now. For more details on how to automate day-to-day HR processes, steps to simplify human interactions, and getting actionable insights to build better workplaces, you can also visit www.darwinbox.com. That's all in this episode. Stay tuned as HR Revolution Perspectives 2023 Experts Take brings you another insightful discussion where we break down the important talent trends across India and APAC and deliberate solutions with the top talent leaders in the region. Thank you so much and have a good day.